If you have ever walked out of a cinema because the film was so bad, what one was it? I've got a story of a film my friends and I refused to leave. Actually, in 2006 I was turning 14 and was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean. My mom threw a Pirates-themed birthday party where my friends and I were meant to go to see Dead Man's Chest, which was still in theaters in August when the party was. We dressed up for it and everything. Well, for some reason the showing we were going to see was packed despite the movie having been out over a month. So there weren't 12 tickets available. My mother, and my friend's mom who came along, made a split-second decision to see the next PG-13 rated movie available. Talladega Nights. The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So a gaggle of 14-year-old girls dressed as pirates walked into this theater to a bunch of weird looks. But we sat down with our popcorn as normal. The next hour and a halfish saw the moms be horrified at the crass nature of the film and keep asking if we wanted to leave. The answer was a hell no from the whole group. That movie proceeded to be the basis of our inside jokes for the next 4 years. To this day it's one of our collective favorite grade school memories. Even if my mother continues to be embarrassed by it. Oh, I remember vividly. It was Battlefield Earth. The shot angles kept being tilted this way and that for no reason, and I started tilting my head so that things would be level. Then my friend joined in. Then we simultaneously were like, are we going to cramp our necks for this? And walked out. Way back in the 70s the movie Freaks 1932 was re-released due to being banned in America for 40 years. My dad, my brother-in-law and myself went to see it. My dad is an extremely straight-lace, no humor type of guy, and we couldn't figure out why he wanted to see it. It was pretty wild for my dad, but he made it through it. However, the second feature, a horror film called Private Parts 1972, not Howard Stern's movie, was a bit much for Dad. During a scene where the main character was fucking an inflatable doll full of water and injecting it with blood drawn from a victim, my dad stood up and said in a loud voice, "This is disgusting," and he walked out. My brother-in-law was right behind him. My brother and myself sat there laughing for about another 5 minutes before we got up and left. They were waiting out front for us and Dad says he was only going to wait another minute before leaving and we would have had to walk home. I left frozen when I was 11 because I was scared LMAO. I guess this technically counts, but when I went to see Deadpool 2, the cinema accidentally put the wrong film on and played some Amy Schumer film instead. Everyone in the screen thought it was some meta Deadpool joke and out of nowhere he'd appear and shoot Amy Schumer, so we were all waiting on that. After about 10 minutes of the film, the staff came into the screen and explained that they had put the wrong film on and couldn't undo it because of their tight schedule etc., but we would all get a refund and were welcome to stay and watch the rest of the Amy Schumer film. Everyone left. I've never walked out of a movie and I saw Cats opening weekend. What is the best time travel movie? There's one coming out 25 years from now that was amazing, but I can't spoil it. It's not the best in terms of cinematic experience, but I was pleasantly surprised by Palm Springs recently. Just a gem I think more should check out. Terminator 1 and 2. Not a movie but a show. Dark. One of the best and most interesting implementations of time travel in media I've ever seen. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. About time. What movie has the best soundtrack? Tarzan. They asked Phil Collins to do the soundtrack and he went way too hard. Previously released music, Forrest Gump. New music specifically for the soundtrack performed by multiple artists, William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. New music specifically for the soundtrack performed by a single artist, Purple Rain. Classical music, The Lord of the Rings. Unofficial, unreleased soundtrack, Queen and Highlander. And special consideration for whatever the hell Moulin Rouge is. How to Train Your Dragon. Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Blues Brothers. Interstellar. What legal scam is still operating that you can't believe people are falling for? Makeup brands like Arbonne and Mary Kay. It really is disgusting how they treat people. Publishers Clearinghouse. After going through my grandmother's finances after she died, I found out the cheap pieces of shit trinkets she kept getting in the mail from them was costing her $20 per month, so she had a chance to stay in the running for $1 million check that probably wasn't real. I'm nearing 40. My GMA passed when I was 36. And for the longest time I remember her getting this shit in the mail every month. One month it'd be shit-ass pencils that wouldn't sharpen and the lead was blurry somehow when it wrote. Cheap pens that just wouldn't write at all. A whole mess of vinyl cutouts of flowers. Tiny American flag pinwheels. And so on. Every single month. Bogus vehicle warranty offers. Life coaches. Follow me to be rich and successful. Multi-level marketing schemes. Goop. That whole company is a scam, yet people fall for it because of celebrity, said thing work. What's the most terrifying movie you ever watched? As a kid, it was The Birds. That scene where it showed the body with the eyes pecked out was, and still is, so well done. I don't think I slept for 2 nights. As an adult who's desensitized to it all now, probably Hereditary. That entire movie oozes dread and has some truly terrifying imagery. I can watch any horror movie and fall asleep afterwards like it's nothing. But Hereditary actually kept me up for almost a whole night. Return to Oz. Why was considered a children's movie? Creepy AF. Also The Blair Witch Project, when it came out in 1999. It was marketed as actual found footage. We all watched it thinking it was real. Sinister. I don't know why, but that movie freaks the fuck out of me. Hereditary fucked with me in a way no other movie has. The Fourth Kind. Insidious was the last movie I watched that really scared me. I'd already been desensitized to most horror movies as a horror gamer. So movies never really did it for me. But for whatever reason, Insidious did it. It was the amount of freaky shit they'd hide in the background. The face in the window. The child standing in the corner. The thing asterisk that does not belong that the movie does nothing to acknowledge. That most of the audience didn't see. That I have to rewatch scenes and explain why I, the master of horror in our group, was freaking out over seemingly nothing. 2017 was close. But the stuff in the background was less subtle because it was kind of the point. So for whatever reason didn't creep me out as much. Honorable mention to The Unborn for the twist on the medicine cabinet cliché. Probably my absolute favorite jump scare in film. Otherwise that movie was meh. What's a common injury that people don't take seriously enough until they experience it themselves? Infected tooth. When the pain is so bad you can't even sleep. Eczema. A lifetime of constantly feeling itchy. Your mental health and quality of life can deteriorate very easily because you are constantly feeling irritated somewhere on your body. I hate it. Back problems. I know people who have complained about their back issues and I wondered if they were playing it up. Then I hurt my back and found out what you use it for. Everything. Moving, standing, sitting, lying down, walking. You dread the feeling of a sneeze coming on. It's awful. Chronic back pain can basically ruin your life and some people think it isn't real. Tinnitus. And when you experience it, it's too late, forever. Migraine. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Actually made me want to die. Redditors in a relationship. How do you feel about your partner having full access to your phone, such as text messages, photos, your apps, everything? I wouldn't care unless the openness was only one way or constantly being used as a tool to constantly unsuccessfully prove I'm being unfaithful. I don't care. There's nothing there. I can get on her phone, too. But I don't want to. Being married 40 plus years does that to you, I guess. Been married 33 years. My husband can access everything if he wants. I don't care in the least, not much to see. Sure, worst she'll find in my dumb searches. My partner and I have each other's passwords but don't go through each other's stuff because he's always had an iPhone. I've always had an Android. And we don't know how to work the other OS. I don't care if my husband looks through my phone, emails or whatever else. Subscribe, my brothers.